Joining us today is Todd Whatley, founder of the Elder Law Coach. Todd is not only an elder law attorney of what, 22, 23 years?
No, 23.
23. So not only does Todd have an extensive background as an elder law attorney, but his main mission and his purpose and his passion is to help attorneys who are interested in becoming an elder law attorney and become proficient at it. You can find Todd at theelderlawcoach.com, and you can listen to his an amazingly helpful podcast, guys. You have to check it out. The Elder Law Coach. Todd, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Tell me the story behind the Elder Law Coach. I'm so fascinated because it's such an interesting service, and it's obviously much needed.
I love elder law. I still practice elder law. I will be 57 this year. And so I went through law school later on in life, got out of law school. And actually what they may find somewhat interesting is my first career was actually physical therapy. I was a master level physical therapist. I did home health and I did nursing homes. I love old people. But at late 20s, my back was going out, my knees were bothering me, and PT's a lot of lifting and tugging. And so I was like, I can't do this for 30 more years. So I started looking around. My cousin is a dentist, and I met him at a family reunion. And I said, "What you doing?" He said, "I went to law school." And I was like, "Wait, what?" He said, "It's a great backup degree. It just
a backup degree."
Yeah, I was like, okay. Wife and 2 kids and a full-time job. And I went to law school, graduated law school, did general practice for like a year and hated it. So I was like, okay, do I go back into PT or do I figure this out? And I got something in the mail that said, there's this new thing. Well, not new, but it was a thing called elder law. And I was like, I love elderly people and I'm a lawyer, so let's look into it. And I just absolutely fell in love with it. The problem, though, was there was no one around me. There was one person doing elder law, and he did not want to help. He was very, just like, no, this is my little niche. I don't want to share. I don't want to help. And so I figured it out by myself. I went to NAILA conferences, read the policy. I did it the very hard way, but once I finally figured it out, it's just the best job in the world because people come into us stressed out. They've just put a loved one into the nursing home, or they're concerned about where their stuff is going to go when they die. And they come into us, and typically, one thing I find very fun with elder law is you're typically the first lawyer these people have ever talked to, right? Because they don't speed, they don't go through divorces, they don't file bankruptcy. They've never needed a lawyer until now. And they come in all kind of scared and, it's like, it's going to be okay. And so it is absolutely the best job in the world.
I see. So no wonder I can hear the passion behind your voice. So no wonder you want to help more attorneys do this. It sounds amazing. And I'm blown away that you had a family, you had a job, and you still did this. So that is a high accomplishment. So I applaud you for that. So, that kind of stacks up on my next question of going back in time. If you went back to your younger self when you first started, the question would be, what would you tell your younger self when you first just starting out as an elder law attorney?
Find somebody, because what I tell attorneys who know nothing about elder law and particularly Medicaid, I tell them it's not hard, but it's complicated. They're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. No, it's not hard. It's policies, it's rules. We as attorneys were taught to read the law and let it make sense. But what's funny is Medicaid law is very convoluted, and it's probably 90% the same state to state. So a lot of my potential coaching clients are like, well, Todd, you're not in Arkansas. Or you're in Arkansas, you're not in my state. How can you help me? It's like, well, I know 90% and I'll learn the other 10% for your state. Certain things make sense, but then a lot of it really doesn't make sense. It's like, Why do they do this? I don't know. I mean, like there's a rule that in some states, if your income's over a limit, then you're disqualified from Medicaid. And it's a very low limit. It's $2,500. Well, nursing homes pretty much everywhere cost $6,000 or more. Some are $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 per month. Well, if you have this income limit of $2,500, and if you make more than that, you're disqualified. But if you create this simple little trust, which is basically a checking account, run your money through that checking account and then pay the nursing home, it's perfectly okay. It's like,
what a loophole.
That makes no sense to me. Why do we do this? But states do it. And so I encourage people, find someone who can help you. And this is complicated. It's not hard, it's just complicated. And one thing that I found very interesting one time is I was talking with a tax attorney, and I was like, man, I just don't know how you do. I've started my LLM in tax, and I was like, I'm quit. I can't do this. My brain just does not work that way. And so I quit. I did get my LLM in elder law though. And so I was talking with this tax attorney. I said, the tax code is so complicated. He said, what? He said, you do Medicaid, right? I said, yeah. And he said, I've tried to do that. I've looked at it and I cannot make that make sense to me. And I was like, really? And he's like, that Medicaid law, that's complicated.
Oh my goodness.
You're a tax attorney. If you think Medicaid law is complicated, I said, okay, it's the best job in the world. You truly get to help people get the care they need and not lose everything. And it's just an amazing job, but you really need someone that you can turn to know. And the problem is you may go to your competitor and they'll give you some information, but they're not going to give you everything because you're competing against them. It's like, dude, you're competing against me. I'm not competing against you. And so that's where people call me. I'll go through it. I'll do the meeting with them sometimes. I'll actually get on a Zoom call, do the meeting with them, quote the fee, do everything. And they're like, okay, yeah. And so it's just get someone to help you. That's what I would recommend.
Get someone to help you. That is so true, because life isn't a book of rules. Like life is just like what you were saying, that you can know all the facts in the book, but there's going to be different scenarios that are not in the book. So through your coaching program, it almost sounds like job shadowing in a way that yeah, that's amazing.
I'll just say just so if you're wondering, I do encourage you to go to theelderlawcoach.com. And you'll see there, my program is generally a 1-year program. I will take you from knowing nothing to being a pretty good elder law attorney in a year. We go through Medicaid, we go through VA, we go through estate planning. That is the pre-Medicaid planning, the irrevocable trust. I will teach you when it works, how to sell it. You should charge probably 3 times what you charge for a revocable living trust. You should charge 3 times that for the irrevocable trust. And for the right client, it's a no-brainer. They'll just do it. Like, $10,000 is a lot of money, but you've shown me how it can save everything. So yeah, let's do it. And it's just beautiful. So sorry, I digress a little bit. So Medicaid, VA, estate planning, office management. I give you all of my forms, all of my checklists, all of my slide presentations. I give pretty much everything in my office, I will give to you. And it's a 1-year program. There's no contract, by the way. And it's $1,250 per month.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary. I have never seen a mentorship program quite like this. When I was learning more about it, you're not only saving their practice, you're saving them so much time of having to figure it out on their own. And I mean, just that possibility for you to give them those answers so they don't lose future clients. Right. So they are able to grow their practice and they're able to work smarter, not harder. I mean, this mentorship is a bargain. When I was reading about it, it's like, this is amazing. I've worked with lawyers for quite a while, and I've never seen a mentorship program quite like this.
The repeating phrase I get is, Todd, I thought I knew it. I got on a plane, flew back home. Went to work on Monday and I was like, I thought I knew it, but I can't make it work out. You need someone to help you through this. And I tell people, it was literally 5 years from when I started doing elder law. I think back, and the reason I know this is you have to be licensed or do elder law for 5 years before you can take your CELA exam to be a certified elder law attorney. And I did not pass the first time I took that. And I was like, I was devastated. Yeah. But it made me think, even after 5 years, I still did not know my stuff well enough. It took me 5 years of reading and just doing cases and just fumbling through cases because there was no one I could call. And it literally took me 5 years. And I will tell you, I wrote some very large checks because I messed up cases. And I encourage people, get someone to help you who knows this stuff so that you don't have to write those big fat checks because you mess up, or call your liability carrier. So let's don't do that. Let's do it right from the start. But if it is messed up, probably we can fix it.
Oh, you know what? I'm so curious. Do you mind sharing like one of those big checks you're talking about?
Yeah, my caseworker, we had met with the family. It was like a Friday. They came in. I'm like, yeah, let's get her on Medicaid. We had talked to them before the app. We just needed a few more things. And this was back in the day of paper apps being faxed in. And so they came in, signed it. Everything was good to go. I was like, yeah, we're good. And so my caseworker put it in the fax machine, hit the button, walked out the door, and went home for the weekend. And so came back in on Monday, gathered the stuff, put it up. And so it typically takes Medicaid sometimes weeks to months before you hear back from them. Oh. You should call and see what's going on. We did not do that at that time. And so finally, about 3 months into it, we're busy doing other stuff. This family was like trusting us to do it. And the family calls and said, the nursing home just called and said, we're not paying. I said, no, you're not supposed to pay because we've applied for Medicaid. He said, well, they called Medicaid and said there was no application in. And I was like, And this was actually like this was 6 months later, 6 months. She had done, I don't know what happened, but anyway, they call, nursing home's mad, there's no application. I said, yes, it's in. I said, Lydia, call the state, find out where this application is. She called and they're like, we have no application. She goes back, what she had pulled off the fax machine, and it said transmission error. So it did not get faxed in. Thankfully, back then, 6 months worth of nursing home care was about $25,000. And so I was like, I don't have $25,000, but I'll work with you. And yes, this is my fault. I'll pay it. I told the guy, I said, you need to get your own attorney because I messed up. You can sue me. Okay. Go talk to your own attorney. And he's like, wow, Todd. Okay. So he worked for a city. He went to the city attorney and said, hey, let me run this by you. He gave him all the facts and told him that I was willing to pay it. I was going to write a check, spread it out over 3 or 4 months or whatever. He said, you can't ask for any better than that. Your attorney sounds like he's a pretty stand-up guy. So I don't think you need to go hire your own attorney. So he came back to him and I said, trust me, we're going to do it right. We did. The application went in, got approved, but there was 6 months there that was not paid for. And so there are ways to fix that. And I will teach you how to not let that happen because I've learned, and I was like, $25,000.
$25,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a few other checks, thankfully, not quite as bad, like a Miller Trust, that trust I was telling you about, the income issue. We've messed that up before. It was our fault. I now have a cover letter that goes to the family to say, here's what you're supposed to do. I am telling you to do this. At that point, I did not use this letter. The family was like, you didn't tell me this. It's messed up for like 2 months. I was like, I can't prove I told you that. So yeah, here's $12,000 to the nursing home. Let's now do it right from now on. So this letter that I give you, called a Miller Trust CYA letter, keeps you out of that problem, because I learned the hard way to do that every single time. So those are just two examples of things that I've learned, and I will teach you. You can learn from my very expensive mistakes not to do that.
You're kind of like the big brother. I have 3 older brothers, so it kind of sounds like the big brother of attorneys of, hey, learn from my mistakes. I'm going to make you more successful.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's see. Another aspect about elder law that, I mean, I've worked with lawyers for years, elder law attorney and estate planning attorneys for years.
Sure.
And I feel personally that there's a very important aspect of elder law that isn't offered at too many elder law firms, and that is VA benefits. I feel that's just a gold mine that needs to be tapped into. And I know that you have a background in that. So I would love to hear your overview of that, of your experience with it, and why other elder law firms should be offering this very excellent service.
Absolutely. I think to be a good elder law attorney, people come to us saying, here's my problem. We're paying $4,500 a month for home care or assisted living, or $8,000 a month for nursing home care. And pretty much nursing home care, VA is not great with, but for the lesser level of care, assisted living, home care, people come to us, and maybe in a lot of states, Medicaid doesn't pay for assisted living or home care. They only pay for nursing homes. And so these people come to us saying, here are my facts, please help me. And if you're only talking about Medicaid, you're missing out on a huge potential. And I think it's almost malpractice if you don't tell them you're a veteran. There's this benefit out there that helps veterans over the age of 65 to pay for care pretty much anywhere. This check comes to you as a veteran, to your bank account. You write the check to cover the care. And it can be $3,000 a month for a married veteran, almost $3,000 a month. And so they look at going into an assisted living facility that costs $4,500 a month. They only make $3,000 a month between them and their spouse. They're like, Todd, that's going to be $1,500 out of my pocket every month. I'm like, but you're a veteran. And if you meet those qualifications, we can get you almost $3,000 a month. You go into this assisted living facility, they feed you 3 meals a day, heat and air, room, board, everything. You're now making $6,000 a month. You're making $1,500 after paying that $4,500 bill, and life is good. And they're like, I don't have to mow, I don't have to paint. The wife's like, I don't have to cook anymore and make $1,500 a month. Absolutely.
I would like that. Can I have that?
For sure. So the assisted living facilities love us. If you do VA, they love us because these people come in, they're like, boy, that's a lot of money every month. Well, yeah, but if you're a veteran, we can at least get it paid for typically, and sometimes even make money by moving in. And so they're like, absolutely, let's do it. So it's good for you as an attorney because you're helping these people get the benefit he's entitled to. If he served during a time of war, at least 90 days active duty, and was discharged anything other than dishonorably, he's qualified. Well, there's income and assets, but there's some planning tools there we can do to help get him qualified, or her, and get them where they need to be and pay for it with money that they deserve. Just so you know, the hardest part of elder law, the most complicated, is when you've got someone sitting in your office and it's like, should I do Medicaid or should I do VA? Both or either. And that's hard. I'll admit, I have trouble sometimes going through that. And you really have to know your stuff or partner up with someone to figure out, should this person do Medicaid or VA? And for all of you out there wondering, it's like, well, can I just do VA? No, you have to be a VA accredited attorney, but it's super easy. You actually get accredited and then take a 3-hour course and you're done. Okay.
Oh, wow.
It's super easy to be accredited. Now, knowing what you're doing is different, but you can get accredited super easy. There's no test. You just sign up and then take the course and you're accredited. And then I can teach you all of the ins and outs of VA, how it works. And then that final version of that course, since you've been through Medicaid and VA with me, is we spend quite a bit of time on how to distinguish between should they do VA or should they do Medicaid.
Oh my gosh, VA versus Medicaid. I can only imagine the complications because every life is different. Every situation is different. There is no cookie cutter to every family and every scenario. So
Right.
I can definitely see the complications of needing to really know your stuff with VA and Medicaid. So
Sure.
I didn't even realize that it's only a 3-hour course to do. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's super easy.
Wow. Well, then, attorneys, you really have no excuse. You really should be offering this at your law firm. My husband's a Marine, so we don't even know all the benefits that's for his service. So, I mean, I just think it's such a great honor for those who have sacrificed for their country, but they just don't know. So I can imagine the peace of mind that you give these veterans when they come in and say, listen, this is available to you, and I'm going to help you walk through it. I'm going to help you achieve those goals that you have, and I'm going to help you save money. I can just imagine the huge relief that just...
Well, here's another tagline on that. In elder law, if you do your job right, at the end of the meeting, you will get a very good sized check and a hug. I mean, it's the best job in the world. You get a fat
check, hug.
You get them both. And so, hey, this is a good day at work. I got a check and a hug and just gratitude. It's like, thank you, Todd. Thank you. Because they truly do come into your office stressed out. I'm going to lose everything because Betty at the beauty shop told me that you're going to lose everything because you're putting your husband into the nursing home. It's like, no, come see me. She comes in, she's afraid she's going to lose everything. And at the end of that hour, she's like, I keep everything and we actually make money by moving here. Yeah. Here's a check. Here's a hug.
It's such a rewarding job. I love just watching you guys work and just figuring out just all the amazing things that you can do for the community, which is what our podcast is all about. So I think it's fabulous. Are there any resources that has helped you over time? Any podcasts that you like to listen to? Any books that have helped you or helped mold you or influence you to become a better attorney?
Sure. I mean, the two biggest books are Robert Fleming's Elder Law Answer book. I've heard it's almost $1,000 now. It's crazy, but it is the resource. And forget the name. It's like the treatise on elder law or something. Rebecca Morgan is one of the authors of that, Professor Rebecca Morgan. You can just Google it and find it. Those two books, I think, are really good. I mean, they're extremely in-depth. And it's a little, Robert's book is more practical. But I encourage you, I am offering my program as the alternative to the weekend courses that you go to and get very little follow-up afterwards. The other thing is not just the training, but you get at least 2 hours of phone calls with me every single month. So you go through the training and then schedule an hour. Typically, I like to do video so that I can see you and just, make sure this is sinking in good. Other coaching client just signed up and she got a really good marital case that came in and she's like, Todd, I've not watched your videos. I don't know what to do. She said, I think I'm just going to refer it out. I said, no, hang on to it. Send me the facts. We went through the facts and I said, you understand that she had been through one of those courses. So she basically kind of knew it. And I cleared it up for her. And I said, and at the end of this meeting, you're going to charge $12,000. She was like, I can't even say 12,000. I said, yes, you can. You can say it. And so she said, I practiced all night, 12,000, 12,000. I said, good. And so she did the meeting on Friday, did everything I said. And she said, I got to the end and I was like, and one of my another catchphrase is you're only charging $12,000 because I'm saving you $486,000. I'm only charging you $12,000. And so she said, I did it just like you said. And they're like, yeah, that sounds like a great deal.
That's a bargain.
Yeah. She said, I got a $12,000 check. I said, I know you can do that numerous times a month. And she was just super happy. And so it's that encouragement. It's that, like you said, big brother just saying, here, let me walk you through this. And I've been through it. I've screwed it up so many times. Let me teach you how to do it correctly.
Oh, how to do it correctly. It's all about working smarter, not harder. How invaluable is this? I just think it's so great. Well, Todd, before we wrap up, is there any last tidbits that you'd like to add?
Let me just say real quick, you'll see my shirt, Answers on Aging, is another podcast that I do with Sarah. She is was a nursing home administrator. That podcast is for the public. And so I would encourage you, if you have clients who are questioning about how does this work? How does Medicaid work? How does the VA work? We do podcasts on that, plus just a lot of other things. We've interviewed PTs and OTs and dermatologists and psychologists. 65 episodes. So I just encourage you, use that as a resource for your clients. And it's not based just on Arkansas. It's, nationwide, but we're proud of it. We think it's a pretty sharp podcast. And so it's good for your clients, but you may want to listen to it also.
So it's that podcast that I remember listening to. So you have two podcasts. It's the Elder Law Coach and the Answers on Aging with Sarah. That's the one that I remember tapping into. Okay. I'm sorry about that confusion, but that's the one that I remember thinking about. So that's so fantastic. And that information is so priceless. So I think it's fantastic. And I really enjoy listening to Sarah too. Well, Todd, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing all of your information here today. If you are an elder law, or if you're an attorney looking into elder law, please look into this mentorship program, because this will save you so much time. And as Todd was saying, it will save you big paychecks that you will have to write out. The oops paychecks, it will save you a lot of oops paychecks. We'll just call them oops paychecks.
Sure.
But
just email me. If you have questions or concerns, please email me, todd@theelderlawcoach.com, TODD. I'll do a phone call with you and explain, answer questions, do whatever. But
all right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you, Todd.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Elder Law Growth Podcast, the place to be for all things marketing for elder law and estate planning law firms. If you liked this podcast, please leave us a review wherever you are listening to this podcast. If you'd like to outsource your marketing to our team, go to bambiz.net and book a free call with us today.